Long ago, in a quiet village called Oberyn, there lived a gifted young woman named Lami. She had hands that could turn cloth into magic, sewing bright wrappers and crafting sandals so fine that even chiefs sent messengers to her door. But joy and sorrow lived side by side in Lami's life. Her belly was round with new life, yet her heart was heavy. Only 6 moons after she became pregnant, her husband died. The one person who made her laugh under the stars was now a memory. Still, Lami wasn't completely alone. She lived with her late husband's mother, Mama Goma, who treated her with kindness, or so it seemed. Every morning, Mama Goma would place her palm softly on Lami's belly and whisper, "This child will bring light into our home." Her voice was warm, and her eyes were calm. Lami, full of mixed feelings, held on to those words like a thread of hope. The people of Oberyn knew Lami for her talents. Traders came from distant lands to buy her hand-woven clothes and soft leather. Slippers. Children giggled in delight when she handed out chin-chin and roasted groundnuts, her pockets always jingling with sweet surprises. But not everyone smiled when they saw her. Some of the village women, their hearts small and full of bitterness, began to talk. Why is she always smiling like a fool? Who laughs so much after losing a husband? Her belly has been big for too long. It's not normal. Lami heard the whispers. But she kept her head high. She believed in kindness. She believed in joy. Even when her back ached and her eyes burned with tears at night, she still welcomed the children who ran to her doorstep, laughing and skipping like goats on market day. They helped her sweep, fetch water, or simply sat beside her listening to her soft humming as she worked. The grown folks. They kept their distance. But Lami didn't mind. Her heart was wide, and her hands stayed busy. Time moved like a crawling snail. Moon after moon passed. And then a whole year. Her pregnancy had lasted for more than 12 moons, something no one had ever seen. And then the rain stopped. The clouds turned away. The river shrank. The soil cracked. Yams refused to grow. Plantains withered before their time. Fear crept into every hut in Oberyn. As hunger swept through the village like wildfire, angry eyes turned to Lami. They pointed at her stomach. "That child she carries, it's cursed. She is the reason for this drought." Lami, once greeted with laughter, now met cold stares and slammed doors. Her back grew heavy, not just from the baby, but from the burden of hate. But in the middle of this storm of cruelty, one spark of kindness remained. A little girl named Tari. Tari was small, but brave. She didn't believe the cruel things others whispered. She saw the truth. She saw Lami's warm smile, her gentle hands, her giving heart. While the rest of the village turned their backs, Tari stepped forward. She brought firewood. She helped wash clothes by the river's shrinking edge. She sat by Lami's feet, talking and laughing. In Tari, Lami found a sister, a daughter, a friend. But darkness deepened. The village elders, afraid and desperate, gathered under the old Iroko tree. They spoke with trembling voices. "The land is angry. The gods are silent. This woman and her child must leave." And just like that, they decided Lami had to go. She was to be cast out from Oberyn, the only home she had known. When Lami heard the news, her knees gave way. Not just because she feared the wilds beyond the village, but because she had to leave Tari and all the little ones who once danced around her like butterflies. The night before her exile, Tari ran to her, eyes wet. "I'll miss your songs," she whispered, "and your puff-puff." Lami hugged her tight. "Be kind, always," she said, "even when the world forgets how." Then at dawn, Lami walked away, one hand on her back, the other holding her swollen belly. Her footprints sank deep into the red earth, each one heavy with sorrow. The bush was thick and silent. No bird sang, no breeze blew. She found a spot, near a dying stream, and collapsed under a kola tree. The world felt distant, cold and cruel, but just as sleep took her, something happened. A wind stirred, the leaves rustled. And out of the shadows came a woman, tall, glowing, her skin like polished ebony, her wrapper made of glistening river moss. "I am Arwell," she said, her voice like the sound of water flowing over stones. "I am the spirit of the river." Lami blinked, confused. "Why are you here?" "I've come because your goodness reached the water's heart," Awele replied. "I've watched you give when you had little, smile when you were hurting, love even when hated." Tears welled in. Lami's eyes, "You are not alone," Awele said softly. "Your pain was seen, your heart was heard." Under Awele's care, Lami felt a strange calm, and then, with the strength of a lioness, she gave birth. A baby girl came into the world, crying with lungs full of life. At that very moment, the clouds broke open, rain fell, not just a drizzle, but a roaring, drumming downpour that danced across the land, soaking the cracked earth, filling dry wells, bringing life back to Oberyn. The rain washed the land clean. Awele spoke once more. "There is a reason this child took so long to come. You were cursed, but love broke it. Your mother-in-law, in her sorrow, blamed you for her son's death. She cursed your womb, thinking she was protecting her boy's memory." Lami's mouth fell open. She didn't know the truth, but your kindness overturned her curse. This child is your gift to the land. She will bring wealth, peace, and unity back to Oberyn. She will finish a path your people forgot. And with that, Awele disappeared into mist, leaving Lami and her newborn wrapped in peace. The curse meant to break, Lami had become a blessing. The baby in her arms wasn't just any child. She was special, a child of both woman and spirit, a sign of healing, a promise of better days. Holding her child close, Lami knew it was time. She tied the baby on her back and began walking. Back home. Back to Oberyn. When she returned, the village looked different. Green leaves danced again on the trees. The dry earth had soaked in the rain, but the air still held pain, from the storms, from hunger, from all they had lost. The people saw Lami coming. They froze, eyes wide, mouths open. No one could speak. Their hearts were heavy, with guilt, with shame, and with something new, respect. Lami looked calm. She had walked through fire and come back with rain in her hands. She had lost much, faced fear, walked alone into the forest, but she returned not broken, but strong, shining with light. The child tied to her back looked peaceful, her tiny fingers curled like shells. Everyone felt it. This baby was not ordinary. She was a blessing. The villagers gathered around her, not with anger, but with tears and soft voices. They hugged her, they welcomed her, they thanked her. Lami forgave Mama Goma, and her daughter, now called Rain Maiden, grew up to become a sign of hope for all of Oberyn. Her story reminded the village that love, courage, and a little touch of magic could change everything. Even the darkest times can lead to light if we stand together and keep believing. Even when the world turns against you, kindness never goes unseen. True love, patience, and a pure heart can break even the strongest curse. When we choose to forgive and stand strong, blessings will always find their way back to us. If you love this story, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs hope, and don't forget to subscribe. For more powerful African tales, tap the bell so you never miss a story that touches the heart.